Today, our topic is the art of accepting death's Stoic wisdom. Death is something we all face, but it is also something many of us fear. It is natural to feel this way, but Stoic philosophy teaches us that accepting death is not only necessary, but also liberating. Stoicism is a school of thought that began in ancient Greece and later became influential in Rome. It teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot. Death, according to the Stoics, is not something we can control, but how we think about it is. By understanding and accepting death, we can live more fully and with less fear. The Stoics believe that death is a part of life, and ignoring it or fearing it only takes away from the time we have. Instead, they encourage people to think about death regularly, not in a morbid way, but as a reminder to appreciate life and live with purpose. One of the most famous Stoic philosophers, Seneca, said, "It is not death that we should fear, but never beginning to live." This means that the real tragedy is not dying, but wasting the time we have. Many people spend their lives chasing things that do not truly matter: money, fame, or material possessions. But when we remember that life is short, we are more likely to focus on what is important: relationships, personal growth, and contributing to the world in a meaningful way. Seneca also said, "Life is long if you know how to use it." This means that even if we live a short life, it can feel full and rich if we live it well. On the other hand, a long life can feel empty if we do not use our time wisely. Another Stoic philosopher, Epictetus, taught that we should not be afraid of death because it is a natural part of life. He said, "Death is nothing terrible, for if it were, it would have seemed so to Socrates." Socrates, another great philosopher, faced his own death with calmness and courage. He accepted his fate and used his final moments to teach others about the importance of living a virtuous life. Epictetus believed that if we can face death with the same attitude, we can free ourselves from fear and live more peacefully. He also said, "It is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things." This means that it is not death itself that scares us, but how we think about it. If we change our perspective, we can reduce our fear and anxiety. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, also wrote about death in his personal journal, which we now call Meditations. He said, "Do not act as if you are going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." This is a reminder that life is short, and we should not take it for granted. Marcus Aurelius believed that thinking about death can help us live better lives. It can motivate us to be kind, to work hard, and to make the most of every moment. He also said you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This is a powerful idea. If we imagine that today could be our last day, we are more likely to act with intention and focus on what truly matters. The Stoics also believe that accepting death can help us deal with loss. When someone we love dies, it is natural to feel sadness and grief. But the Stoics remind us that death is a part of life, and we cannot control it. Instead of being consumed by sorrow, we can choose to celebrate the life of the person we lost and be grateful for the time we had with them. This does not mean we should not feel sad. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions. It is about understanding that some things are beyond our control and finding peace in that acceptance. Another important Stoic idea is that death is not something to be feared because it is not inherently good or bad. It is simply a natural process. The Stoics believe that good and bad come from our own actions and choices, not from external events. Death itself is neither good nor bad. It is our attitude toward it that makes the difference. If we see death as a terrible thing, we will suffer. But if we see it as a natural and inevitable part of life, we can accept it with calmness and grace. The Stoics also taught that thinking about death can help us appreciate the present moment. When we realize that life is finite, we are more likely to savor the small joys and not take them for granted. For example, a simple meal, a conversation with a friend, or a walk in nature can become more meaningful when we remember that these moments are precious and fleeting. The Stoics believed that gratitude is an important part of living a good life. By being thankful for what we have, we can find contentment and peace, even in the face of uncertainty and loss. Another way Stoicism helps us accept death is by reminding us that we are part of something larger than ourselves. The Stoics believed in the idea of the cosmos, which is the idea that everything in the universe is connected. They believed that we are all part of a greater whole, and that our individual lives are just a small part of this larger system. When we die, we return to the cosmos, and our energy becomes part of the universe again. This perspective can help us see death not as an end, but as a transformation. It can also help us feel less alone, knowing that we are connected to something greater. The Stoics also believed that accepting death can help us live more courageously. When we are no longer afraid of dying, we are free to take risks, pursue our dreams, and stand up for what we believe in. Many people are held back by fear of failure, fear of rejection, or fear of the unknown. But when we accept that death is inevitable, we realize that we have nothing to lose by living boldly. The Stoics believe that courage is one of the most important virtues, and it is only by facing our fears that we can truly live. Finally, the Stoics taught that accepting death can help us find meaning in life. When we realize that our time is limited, we are more likely to focus on what truly matters. This might mean spending time with loved ones, pursuing a passion, or working to make the world a better place. The Stoics believed that the purpose of life is to live virtuously, to be honest, kind, brave, and wise. By focusing on these virtues, we can live a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling, even in the face of death. In conclusion, the Stoic philosophy teaches us that accepting death is not about being morbid or giving up on life. It is about understanding that death is a natural part of life and using that understanding to live more fully. By thinking about death regularly, we can appreciate the present moment, focus on what truly matters, and live with courage and purpose. As Seneca said, death is the wish of some, the relief of many, and the end of all. It is not something to be feared, but something to be accepted as a part of the human experience. When we accept death, we can live with greater peace, gratitude, and meaning. This is the art of accepting death's Stoic wisdom for a better life.